Welcome back, everyone. This is Love Coley, and I'm going to give a retort to a video today. It's not something I do much or often, but something that I saw by Erin. Hi, Erin. Just really irked me only because it just went nowhere. This video was talking about Bernie Sanders and his chances in the campaign and his chances on getting anything passed, and so it's on Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel. For me, that's where I saw it. He is a financial, he has his doctorate in finance, and I actually am studying finance and thinking about graduate school right now. So I watch Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel all the time. I love his story. I love what he says. And I just really like to listen. So Erin, I listen to you and I understand where you're coming from, but I want to talk about the channel real fast. Dr. Boyce Watkins is one channel, probably is uploaded on other channels, I'm assuming, but there's 123,000 subs. A lot of people were listening to you, and as I look at it now, there's like 980 clicks on the video. The reason people are pissed off in the comment section, myself included, I was the first one, is because this is a dead-end street that you come up with. You state the obvious, and that you know, problems that you and we know about. It's rough. It's rough to fight. It's so rough to fight every day. It's tough because the things that you highlight in your video are that, you know, that those in control want nothing to do with Bernie Sanders, and so he's going to come into an area and have millions of enemies. We know that. So that's number one. And then you were talking about the American public. Some of us know what's going on, others don't. A lot of them, you're talking about, you know, propaganda and social control. We know that. Edward Bernays, he wrote the book on it, Manufacturing Consent. In a democracy like this, in a republic, they don't use a dictatorship, but and forcefully control people, but instead they control the minds. And so people like us who have popped out of the box and we know things and we're fighting for things, you know, we have a lot of uphill battle. So I get where you're coming from there. And you call Bernie's ideas novel, and you say they're not possible, and I just would like to say no. Of course they're possible. Of course they're possible. Women weren't supposed to vote. We're not supposed to, you know, we're supposed to be in the kitchen. But we're here, and we're educated, and we're voting, and, you know, you can say that a lot about some of the history from America. We have some good things that have changed, but I understand where you're coming from. There's a lot of shit that we still have to deal with moving on up. But what you say is that all of his ideas are extremely impractical. Those are your words. And I would like to argue that no, they're not. No, they're not. Ralph Nader recently wrote a book detailing about the fact that we don't need that many people to be awake in order to actually change something. We just need some really active people who are out there promoting the way forward. And so the reason the video falls short is because you go and you tell everybody how crappy it is, and then you kind of dead end to it. And other people brought that up in the comments, and your comment to them was, I don't have to propose a solution. Like, why put it up then? If you're just going to sit there and bag on the system, why put it up? I mean, so what was the point? So was it to go home and not vote at all? There was no point. If there's no point, we don't get it. That's why I kind of attacked and got really upset, because some of us are out here fighting. You noted to me that things haven't changed in 50 years. I said to you, if you want to argue that things have not changed since the Civil Rights Act, that's fine if you want to argue that. I would disagree. But I would tell you this, you know, from People's History by Howard Zinn, and from just looking back, you can see that people were fighting. Okay? They didn't just roll over, and they didn't just give up. And so I'm going to put a couple links below to the learned helplessness effect. You're talking about psychology. You are playing in to what they would like you to think. They would like you to think there's nothing you can do and you hate everybody, and so you're just going to go home and just not vote, or maybe you're just going to vote, but you're not going to vote for president. These things lead nowhere, okay? And so I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to finish your video here, because I have been working my tail feathers off for Bernie Sanders and for us to get somewhere with this political movement. And I'm going to tell you about some of the ways that we can march forward, okay? So number one is that we do need to get down and inform the people. I have conversations with people every day, and more people understand what's going on, and there is a lot more that don't, and I understand that, but we don't need that many. We don't need that many, so we need to inform the people. Number two, your video your video should have made a point. Your video, I understand like the problems that you're espousing, but 980 people wasted their time clicking on it and wasted 12 minutes to hear nothing, just that the system sucks. And on a platform like that, it's so sad. It's so sad because, I wish I would have had that chance. I would have put a video together like, oh, you know what, we're on our way up. It's going to be an uphill battle, da-da-da-da-da. But I would really like you to check out brandnewcongress.org, how we're going to try to remove multimillionaires from the Congress, which is step number one. Then I would also like to let you know, you will agree with this. The number one thing I'm talking to people about, when I'm tabling and when I'm camping, all the work that we do, we talk about the death of the two-party system. Okay, there is no more left. Hillary Clinton is a self-proclaimed Republican, Goldwater girl. Okay. And a lot of people tell me, just vote for Hillary or else we're going to get Trump. I don't care what happens. I'm not voting for them. I am going to vote my conscience. I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders in the primaries. And if he's not there in the election, I will be voting for Jill Stein. That's the thing. And after that, we're also, right now in my group, what we're doing is we are writing and calling superdelegates. Now, I could go to my group, and we have letter writing parties, and I could tell them, they're not going to read these letters, and they don't care about these letters, and why should we write them? But I don't do that, because it's not what a leader does. If you have a platform where you're getting clicks and you're getting exposed to over 100,000 people, and that's what you have to offer them, that is so pathetic, my friend. Like, anything, I would have taken anything besides nothing at all. If you had ended the video with, and since all this has happened like this, I really don't think you should vote for anyone. I think you should just go and protest vote and just leave the president blank and just vote for all your local people. I do tell people to do that. If you absolutely don't like any of the candidates and you don't want to vote third party, go ahead and vote for your local people, but leave the presidential thing space blank. And that's a protest vote. That says I showed up here and I'm not voting for any of you. That's a big FU to both parties. So that's another thing that we're going to do. We're going to try to enthuse the people, keep the excitement going. We're going to try to get people to understand that we need to remove multimillionaires from the Congress. They have no business there. They don't care about us. And they are all tied into big business, and we all know that. So that's the next thing. Also want to talk about passing laws. Most of this stuff does not require you to pass laws. Get money out of politics. Okay. So let me explain something like that, and then I'll do a little bit of a metaphor, just kind of break it down. What you do is inspect your candidates. We talk about this a lot. Inspect your candidates and see how they raised money. If they raise money off of excuse me, a GoFundMe site or what have you, and they can show that they've just been getting donations that way, and that they don't have any huge donors per se, that is what we can look for. So let me do a metaphor because it's kind of a new idea and it's kind of like a new thing. Okay, so Monsanto, right? They put GMOs in everything and we don't want to eat GMOs. Just as an example, this is one thing we do. We can't get a law passed that says you have to label your foods GMO. We can't do it. They own too much of the system like you're talking about. We can't do it. But what we can do is put a label on food that says guaranteed non-GMO. And then you, with your dollar, you vote and you pay and you get that thing that says non-GMO. Eventually, down the line, people start selling these products that say no GMOs. So you didn't have to get a law passed. You see that? You actually changed around things. So the actual people that create the products and put them away, it will start using non-GMO verified foods. And there goes Monsanto. This has already started to happen. Okay, so back to money in politics. We start investigating who our candidates are, where they're coming from, and how they got their money. And then we make sure they pass the Bernie Sanders test, and we make sure that they have small funded elections, that they're creating their money through just little small donations. So that's what we can do. Small ideas like that. But what we can't do is have our leaders, and by leaders I mean anybody with a platform. I don't even have a platform. I make videos on YouTube here and there. I study finance, but my main thing is tabling and going to protests in LA. Like, I'm in LA, that's where we are. But my thing is that if you have a platform, please use it for some good. If you have the idea that Bernie Sanders is no good for this and that reason, that's fine. But what is the idea? You talk about Malcolm X. He was a leader. He enthused people. I know he was a realist. I get it. And we are realists too. We are. But we can't just sit there and have the learn helplessness take over. Learn helplessness is an effect that happens after you've been told over and over again it's never going to happen. There's a lot of people that say to me, it's never going to happen. But let me tell you, the law is just a bunch of paper and somebody signs it and that's what it is. Now, I understand there's a lot of processes that go on, but if we realize our power, which is in numbers, right? We don't have dollars, we have numbers. If we realize that, then we can move forward. And how can we do that? We can have National Blackout Day where nobody purchases a thing. We can have National Blackout Day where everybody calls in sick to work. We can do these things, but we can't do them unless we unify. And in that unification process, we can't have fuckers going around and saying, we can't do anything. Yes, we can.